Hey, welcome back, everybody. They came from the underground. Your host this evening, or morning, or afternoon, whenever you're listening to this. Jordan Clemens here. In this episode, we got Jeff Lynch, good friend of mine. Met him through the comedy scene. He's got his own podcast called The Empty Parlor, that he does with Matt Lamb, a previous guest that we have had on the podcast. Also a very funny guy. Part of the reason I wanted to have him on was because at one point in time he was in the U.S. Air Force, and he has verifications of alien stuff. And I don't know if I've gotten into it on this podcast, but I do enjoy listening to some alien stuff. UFOs, whatever you want to call them, is what it is. But then during the podcast, I completely forgot to ask him about it at all. So we don't get into it during this podcast whatsoever. But he did verify that the only things he can even talk about are the things that are already being released on like CNN and stuff. And so it's not like he has any new information that he's allowed to tell. He's had to sign like NDAs and do all that stuff. But also that's obvious when you're, aware enough of what goes on within those kinds of agencies, whatever it is, military secrets. And so he wouldn't have been able to tell us anything, all that special. Well, I guess, it would have been cool to me. I would have thought it was special. And, which is why it blows my mind that I fucking forgot. So that's where we are with the podcast. In this episode, I learn about Jeff. I learn about Jeff. And kind of tells me about his podcast a bit that is with Matt. I talked to him about him doing comedy. We talked some shit on Kristen Stewart out of nowhere. All in good fun. It was on my mind at the time when we were talking about it. I had brought up like trans people going into like sports and stuff, and it is supportive. Well, it's like inquisitive, almost you could say. I was thinking about it. I never really talked to anybody about it. Felt like bringing it up. And was I wrong about my ideas I brought up? I don't know. I felt like I was reasonable, but that's not for me to say particularly, I guess. I kind of coaxed him into it. He didn't really want to talk about it. I even say like, I don't know if we should really get into it, because I don't want to ruffle any feathers. Because honestly, like, I don't care if people are trans. I grew up around all kinds of people. Like when I was in high school, I started a band, and the lead singer had a trans mom. And they called her Mum because they have their mom, and then Dad became Mom in that aspect, if that makes sense. And sure it does. And so to distinct it, they did Mom and Mum like they do in England. So I was around that all the time. I was used to that. This is all just new stuff coming up. I just wanted to talk to somebody about it, see if I was crazy, hear out their opinion. Jeff was also very supportive. I don't know why I'm like pressing that in as if when you hear it, it's going to be like real offensive. It shouldn't be. But it's no big deal. It doesn't last long, and then we get into other stuff. So yeah, basically, as I've said before, I started the podcast to get to know comedians and musicians and other entertainers within the scene. Even had a magician on. And so this is another case of that. I get to know Jeff. Jeff's a cool guy. I was happy to have him on. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, he's a real cool guy. Check out his podcast, Empty Parlor, on Pun and Game Network, punandgame.com. Yeah, I don't have a lot to really say in the intro. I've been finally getting back to working out, trying to get all jacked. Just trying to look better, feel better, be healthier. Get more puss. No, I've been really, I've been in a bit of a dark place recently. Things have been kind of ultra stressful, a little lonely, but it's getting better. I'm working out of it. I I like having this podcast as a bit of an outlet, even though I do not put in the proper work to it that I should. I got a bunch of ideas I want to try, and I just never get around to it. I've been real busy. I'm always at the open mics or at shows or like trying to meet a gal, something. Just like I'm working out now. My fucking blower in my car, and so I have been on a break from all that much drinking, and so I've been adjusting to that. That's weird. Just because I've just been able to for so long, and now all of a sudden it's just like these obstacles, and I gotta drive myself everywhere because I'm the only comedian that lives in fucking Ames that I'm friends with. The rest are, I mean, well, no, I am friends with the Ames comedians. They're like college kids, close to my age, but yeah, I shouldn't say I'm not. Like, I can't really say that I'm not friends with them. Like, we don't like hang out, but we do talk to each other, and they've given me rides to work at the club and stuff like that. I've been to plenty of open mics with them, talked to them. Really cool guys. Hoping they stay up with everything because they're funny. And then, yeah, it's just like me and some college kids who were part of the comedy club. Not like the club, the place, but like a club at the ISU college. All really cool guys. And, yeah, it's just been a weird time. Like, I have to drive up to Des Moines all the time to be able to see all that, because that's where all the main comedy is here in Iowa, or at least close to where I am, is in Des Moines. And then there's always stuff going on kind of around the state, but kind of hard to make it out because my car has over 230,000 miles and has some sketchy behaviors sometimes when I'm driving, especially when I'm driving long distances. And so I worry that if I like drive out 2 hours for 2.5 hours, whatever, 3 hours for an open mic somewhere on the edge of Iowa, and that it will be its last ride, and then I will be stuck outside of Ames. And yeah, I inherited my younger brother's inherited. He did die. Bad word for it. But I had taken over his car because it had a bunch of problems, and then he just didn't get them fixed. And then he kind of hijacked one of my parents' extra vehicles, and he had that one available. So now I'm using it. Got some repairs done to it. It's fine for now. But I'm not thinking it's going to last the next year and a half that I have to have a blower in my car. I'm done with my probation at the beginning of next year, but I'm not done with my driving probation until the end of next year. So it is going to be quite a while. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to add. Was burned pretty bad recently. I also have sunburn. That got real bad a few days ago. That sucks. I did squats for the first time in fucking months a couple days ago, and my thighs hurt so bad. Like, going upstairs is almost like, I would say it's easier than going downstairs because my weight is going down onto my legs. I don't know what the deal is, but it freaking hurts. And but it's all part of the beginning process. I just got to keep with it. I'll be fine. I'm trying to get back into just being a healthier white man. So anyway, going back to the guest, Jeff Lynch, great guy, very funny. Check out his podcast. He's finally back into coming back out to open mics again. I've hung out with him a few times at some open mics. It's good to see him again. He took a break for a while because of COVID, and now is back in the scene. So I am happy to see that he's out again. I'm happy to see a lot of comedians coming. There's still a few that have not shown back up yet, and we're waiting for the return of them. Some of the guys who were in the scene for a lot longer before COVID and then took a break. Some comedians are taking a break for the summer just to write, get some things figured out, but we're keeping on the grind. I'm still working at the club, Teehees, every Thursday, running the open mic, do some shows to cover for Destin, old Destin Pursley, my former podcast partner. And haven't done any this month yet. Doesn't look like I will be. He usually runs all the shows, but I do all the open mics. But yeah, he teaches me a lot. Good relationship. Yeah. No, I think that's it, honestly. Not a lot of new developments. My dog started her period. Kept forgetting to fucking get her fixed. And now she's bleeding. So, it is funny seeing a dog in diapers, though. Like, it's kind of gross. But when you take the diaper off, they have to take her outside. But, it's pretty silly. You kind of feel like one of the people who dresses up their dogs all the time, and you decided to go with the baby look for 3 weeks or however long it lasts. I never keep track. I never know how long it lasts exactly. Gets it a couple times a year. God damn, I keep going on tangents of everything because I'm like, all right, Jeff Lynch and dog period. Yeah, no, I don't know. Things are in a weird place. Everyone's readjusting to life being normal again. Almost nobody wears masks anymore. I see some out there. People just continuing on with caution. I still have to get vaccinated. Have not yet. Planning on it. Hasn't happened. But I'll be fine. I think I still have antibodies. Haven't gotten checked for that either. Also probably should do that. Anyway. Pretty good podcast. I dare say good podcast. Jeff is a lot of fun to hang out with. We have been recording out of Lefties, and it's a cool place. I love that Ann Matthew, the owner of the place, lets me record there. Makes things a lot easier, so that way people don't have to come to me. I just sitting there, set up at a booth, record before the open mic. So if you ever hear music in the background, that's what it is. They're playing music, and I feel bad telling them to turn it off because I'm going to be sitting there for an hour, and then it becomes all about me. People start rolling in, and then by the time enough comedians have rolled in, or guests, audience members, I wrap it up so that way the chatter doesn't get too bad in the background. And yeah, we're keeping it going, keeping the grind going. I'm on a show with the Wolf Dog Comedy coming up in August 7th in Mason City, I believe. I will be performing alongside Jake Paulson, Jake Peterson, Justin Paulson, and Mike Brody, coming all the way out from LA. And it's going to be a great time. I am very excited for it. I don't know how much time I'm doing yet, but I'm on the show with them. Got a couple offers for a couple shows coming up whenever they happen to do some opening slots. So we'll see what happens with that. But currently the one that I know about is on August 7th, Mason City. You know what? I'm going to look up where that is real fast. Just so that way I'm advertising it correctly. So let's see. Wolf Dog Comedy. Open that up. Events. Okay, there we go. Oh, there we go. Okay, no, never mind. I was wrong. It's a good thing I looked. Otherwise, I would have advertised this completely wrong. It will be at a District Rock and Roll Grill. Wolf Dog Comedy presents Mike Brody, and that'll be August 7th. That is at 8 p.m. In Clear Lake, Iowa. So go check that out if you happen to be in the area, or if you just want to come out and hang out, hit me up. You can ride up with me. depending who it is. That's not like an open invitation to everybody. It's always a funny thing. Like I have a friend who posts on Facebook like, who's trying to like come over and hang out with us, with me and watch this movie, and I'm like, you're really expecting like a specific small number of people to respond to that. Like I know for sure that's not just like an open invitation to whoever is on Facebook at the time. You know what I mean? And like you want a certain person. Like when people say like I wish I had someone to cuddle, like they mean very specific people. And they're trying to put it out there and hope that they see it specifically instead of just hitting up that person or like going through the list and seeing who's available personally, which is honestly what should be getting done. But that is not always the case. So that's what I got going on so far. Podcast up everywhere again. Thank you all for listening. And without further ado, I bring you Jeff Lynch.
Clearly some sort of global pandemic.
They came
In the underground.
Get that metronome.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I got all the waves going. It took me a minute when I was here with Wade last week to figure out how to make it so I'm not hearing like my voice but doubled.
Oh yeah.
And because I forgot, it had been so long since I'd recorded, I had forgotten a couple of the controls and everything. And I do a intro pre-recording, so we don't really have to get like real into kind of production kind of standards or anything. We can just let it go.
Yeah, man.
But
that's all podcasts are about, bro.
Right, exactly. I'll take care of the formal stuff beforehand, or well, I guess in this point afterwards, for when people are listening to it, they'll get the intro to who you are and all that, and then it'll just go into it.
Cool. Are we recording right now?
We are recording right now. Wanted to make sure
Okay.
that everything was working. So hi everybody.
This is this is out to the podcast right now.
No, it's
Okay.
it's not live. That's just for those who listen when it goes out here. Yeah, so, so Jeff Lynch sitting in with us. Tell me, man. I've thought about doing weird shock jockey stuff as part for fun, but making fun of it. But that's all stuff I'm working on still. But anyway, comedian Jeff Lynch is sitting in with us in the studio today. That's just a fun voice to do, though.
Oh, I thought we were going. I thought that was
no, we are.
cue to go.
No, that was yeah. Now I'm just like getting into the zone. So I'm just doing the voice.
Oh, yeah.
But what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing well, dude. I just did some yard work at home. My yard was dude. It's growing fast. It's springtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I used to make fun of people for taking care of their yards a lot.
Very nice. That sounds like a great time for our new sponsor, Sunday. If you want a better lawn, no.
Bro, I'm not even kidding. I used to roast people for taking care of their yards. I'm like, look at this fucking geek out here mowing. Dude. Let it grow. Fuck it.
Yeah, man. Let your yard do what it wants to. Life is happening out there. Why would you dare try to fuck with life? Or who do you think you are, Mother Nature?
Are we recording now?
Yes, we are recording.
Cool. We had a couple false starts. I wasn't sure, dude.
Yeah, I'm getting into the zone of fucking around.
Hell yeah.
so I just kept doing false starts. It was like,
man, shameless plug, the Empty Parlor, the podcast that I host with Matt Lamb. This is pretty much all it is all the time, just two dudes fucking around. So
is it? It's not a shameless plug, especially even whether or not I ask you to do it, because we would have gotten there anyway.
It's full of shame.
So Empty Parlor podcast. We'll go ahead and actually give out the information now. That way, it's out there. People know what it is.
Yeah, man.
Beforehand.
So the Empty Parlor podcast is hosted by myself, Jeff Lynch, and Matt Lamb. We essentially talk about anything. The idea is like two guys in the bar or like the parlor, the drinking area, like way too late, just talking about bullshit.
Yeah.
Where somebody's like there sober, like, get these guys the fuck out of here kind of stuff, where we're just like, dude, you believe in ghosts?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you heard about this thing called the Bell Witch? And it's like, no, dude, let's talk about it for four hours.
Yeah. I've definitely had those experiences of I kind of have a bit of a janky connector for the
we're good.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
I think
good.
we're good. Okay.
Yeah, it's just kind of it's I lost the good one that I had, so I had to use the one that this connects into.
Oh, no problem.
I kind of lost the good one, and so I guess
It's all good.
I guess just yeah,
I just won't
watch
touch it
out for
anymore.
Yeah, you're right.
No hands. No hands.
Yeah, sorry. No,
But yeah,
I lost that bit.
To finish the pitch, though, so yeah, we're just bullshitting. Empty Parlor. You can find it on punandgame.com, or you can go to Apple Music. There's a bunch of other platforms. Matt always does like the. I'm like the lazy host, where I'm just like, yeah, I'm here for the ride, and Matt's like, here's a shotgun of all the places you can find us. But really, though, punandgame.com is the hub to go there. You can go and find Wade Taylor's podcast. He was on last week.
Yeah.
With you. Yeah. So that's our podcast boss. He sets up the website and he hosts it for us and stuff like that. So like without Wade, we wouldn't be able to do the stuff that we're doing as easily with Pun and Game. So,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool, man. Matt's a really good guy. You have to have him on this podcast too. I think you I think you did have him on here a couple years ago, but like that, or not, maybe not a couple years ago, but like a while ago.
I think it was last year. It was during the pandemic, because I remember, because he was talking about a game that essentially there was a aspect to it of it being a global pandemic within the game, and so then it was like fitting because we were in there. So I actually clipped out him saying global pandemic. And then I've sent it to the people that I have working on some theme music for me, so that way if they want to clip it in, and by the time you're hearing this, you've probably heard it already. So whether it is or is not in it, that was up to the artist.
Oh, nice. So there'll be
music.
like there's like a audio collage of all the funny stuff that people have said on here before.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I've been going through old episodes trying to find clips and stuff. I was trying to find one through like the Ian Pope episode where he was like, we're all living for stories to tell, and I couldn't find the moment where he said that, because that's what inspired the title of the episode. But I couldn't find the actual clip of him saying that phrase, and so I'm still looking for it.
It's in there, man.
Not a lot of places to look, obviously, but but I still have not found it.
You just got to go the roundabout way to go and say that phrase, and then find the exact audio signature on there. You got to find the most roundabout fucking way to do it, dude. Match up the audio. match up the waveforms, dude.
Dude, I'm learning things from Jeff Lynch already. Shit. All right, I can definitely try that out, because that would probably make it a lot easier than me just like listening to me talk to basically me over talking.
I wonder if that would actually work, because you would have to get him to say it, because the waveform of you saying that phrase is not going to be the same as Ian saying it.
Yeah.
So you got to get him to come in here and just whatever you said. Like, people are always searching for stories to tell, and then boom, match that up. I don't know, dude. That's some like.
Yeah,
I feel like you could just listen to it. Just spend an hour listening instead of 3 hours.
I definitely do need to. I was listening to it. I tried listening to it one night not too long ago, and I literally found myself being like, I piss me off to some degree, just because. But I think a lot of people have that where they don't like listening back to their own voice.
Oh, I thought you were saying like something like Ian Pope said. I was like, man, you'd be the first person that Ian Pope pissed off.
No, Ian Pope didn't. No. Yeah, no, me and Pope are cool.
Yeah.
I got to be cool with the Pope if I'm gonna get into heaven. No, it doesn't count. Do not go to Ian Pope for religious advice.
Yeah, right, dude. That guy is the gatekeeper of heaven. If you're not cool with Ian Pope, you're going to fucking hell, dude.
Well, I mean, that's what. Yeah, exactly. Everybody's name is kind of derived off something that their family was known for.
No, dude, I'm just talking by virtue, man.
And
Ian Pope is just that good of a dude, man. It doesn't matter what his name is.
I know. It is kind of crazy how cool of a guy he is, and then his last name is Pope.
Hey, and welcome to the Ian Pope Circle Jerk Hour.
Ian Pope, if you're listening to this, I enjoyed our time last night. Yeah, so I got to find that. I just have to try listening through it again and finding that exact moment where he says it, because I cannot find it for the life of me. But yeah, so but then I have Matt saying global pandemic, and then I found clips of old stuff where it says they came from. And then it was like this one really old TV show that I guarantee did not do well. It was called "They Came from Outer Space," and it's like it's like I cut out that section of the theme song. It's like they came from out, they came from, and then I found an old kind of, because the name the title of the podcast is based off of like old horror thriller movies.
Yeah,
where it actually is a guy talking about how like a guy. Well, no, wait. It is like, it's just like an old classic horror thriller thing where it's like they came from this, or like the things that came from, it's like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Where that was still an ominous way to describe things.
Right.
And so I found an old clip of a guy doing and it's like that deep kind of old radio sounding voice to it, where he's like, they came from, and
dude, you know what? I was thinking this.
And then I just cut out that, and then I just found a vocals only version of "Fuck the Police," or I think it was "Fuck the Police." Where it's like, and it starts like "fuck the police" coming straight from the underground, and so I
Ooh,
got out the
yeah.
underground section, and
Nice,
it was just the vocals, and so I sent off all that to a couple producers, and actually Matt Lamb made me a little song that I'm probably going to use as the outro, and then clip out for transitions between things.
Hell yeah, man.
And so I'm saying all this because I'm saying all this the way I'm saying it because I haven't done that
For legal
yet.
reasons.
For legal reasons. I have contracts, and if I break them, Matt Lamb actually has a passage in there he can kill me.
Yeah,
There's
I'll be right there.
I will
Partners.
become Lamb's sheep, and so the reason I'm saying it the way it is because the episodes haven't come out and I haven't like fully put them together,
Mhm.
and so editing wise, and so I haven't actually implemented them, and so
Yeah.
people aren't actually hearing them. And so I have to. That's why if you hear those songs and then I'm saying it like I haven't
It's
even done
fine,
it, that's
dude.
why.
Anybody listening that's mad about that, from me, I'm not speaking for Jordan, but fuck you.
It's a great point.
If you care about that, man, then back off. This is a podcast. It's coming at you. Free content, entertainment, dude. This is to get you through your shitty day or maybe
Coming at
through your
you.
long one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, coming at you live from Legends Live Music. We got Jeff Lynch in the studio. Hey, he's a wacky, crazy guy. He's coming here to tell us about his comedy.
Yeah, that middle consonant there, or like vowel sound, is really that's indicative of that Chuck. Chuck fucking voice, man.
There's a couple
I can't do
voices. Yeah, there's a couple voices that my voice seems to be kind of made for, and that shock jockiness I can do pretty well, and then like dog track announcers,
Dog
or like racehorse, and if you're at like a horse race,
okay.
whatever, the Derby. It's like, hey, coming down the mountain now.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can kind of get to I can kind of do that, but I can never think of what to say exactly.
It's kind of weird, like the cultural theme with the kind of voices with certain roles, you know?
Yeah.
Like with those people that are announcing those dog races or the horse races, there's the, hey, you know, like the old timey voice is like totally normal. Like it's just perpetuated because
Yeah.
it's just, oh, this is how it always has been. And then you got a bunch of fucking, what do they call them? Blue hairs, old fucking people that are like, this is how it used to be. So I'm comforted by this noise. It's like, yeah, you're still at the fucking dog track. You
Right, yeah,
maniac.
exactly. You're still at an outdated form of gambling.
You're betting on dogs, you fucking psycho.
I know. Do you even know what happens to these dogs when their career is over?
Right, when their career's over. When their career's going on, I guess they're probably treated okay, but
Yeah,
shit,
they are treated pretty well during the racing portion of their life, and then they're just kind of cast away.
But you know, if you don't think about it,
If you don't really think about it, you can really live your life on the edge, betting on those dogs, chasing that fake rabbit.
no shit. Oh my god, dude.
It's a crazy thing,
I
man.
don't really know how we got to that, but
Oh, I often don't know. I
voices.
often don't know where I got
voices,
to where.
that's what you're talking about. That's what we were talking about
Yeah,
that for.
yeah,
Man,
yeah,
the
yeah.
only voice that I can really do, I can do like a kind of okay Alex Jones voice,
Oh yeah.
which I'm just like writing this down because I feel like it's gonna be like making fun of this dude. A lot of people make fun of Alex Jones, but that
Oh, yeah.
motherfucker's definitely going down at some point. Man. That guy, dude, like I'm not gonna bring it down. We'll talk about the Capitol riots, but like
Nothing you say will have any effect on Alex Jones's life.
oh, I know, but fuck that guy. But dude, the stuff that guy says is absolutely ludicrous, and like he actually has like he has his talons in people, and they actually believe it and they like it.
I
Like,
know.
He's like, he literally said, I fucking shit you not, on a Joe Rogan podcast. He goes, Hillary Clinton is transmitting satanic. Like, dude, he was talking about sending fucking brainwaves from the other side of Mars moon to people on Earth, and somehow it's gonna like manipulate them to vote against Donald Trump or something like
Wow.
that. It's like, oh my god, these people like don't understand science, dude. It's
I know.
absolutely fucking nuts.
You know what's crazy too is like here's the crazy thing about Alex Jones is aside from the obvious is he says so much shit that sometimes he's been right, like the Hemlock Grove thing or whatever it is, where it's like where people from in power within the government get together at like some field location and wear robes
Oh,
and
yeah.
shit and
I don't know
like
if it's-
worship the owl guy. Like that was actually proven to be true.
Is it called Hemlock Grove? It
I
doesn't
think
ring a
it's
bell to me.
Hemlock Grove is what's coming to my mind, but
Okay.
that might not be right, and I'm
I
not
won't
going to look it
disagree.
up right now.
Who cares?
What I'll do is I'll do one of those bullshit things where you go back and you edit in, but I just clip the audio in that part where I'm saying it. It'll be me like Hemlock Grove,
Right.
just like or like a computer like add in voice to cover it up,
Nice.
put in the right name. But yeah, I think that's what it's called. But that did end up being right, and there was something about like And then it's like something about human experiments with animals. It's like that was another thing, or it was like some
dude.
like,
Hold
but
up.
the only point I'm making is that like the vast amount of things he said, only some of it that I've seen come out in other places to prove it was true. It doesn't particularly mean that he like uncovered it particularly, but he was just at least talking about it before other people. But the majority of it is fucking insanity.
Dude, the human hybrid thing is not fucking true.
That's it. I mean, I'm not gonna look it up right now, but that was
human
but
hybrids.
but
What the fuck?
well,
is
they
there,
don't
like, a
have
bipedal
actual
sheep running
well,
around?
not to that degree. It's just more of like experiments that they do of them like fucking with like mixing genes of people in it, like that. Whatever,
what the fuck
whatever
is
it
wrong
involves.
with that though? You know, it's like if we
Isn't
want
it
to
just-
modify some
I know.
genomes that can like maybe give a guy the power to run like a horse. Fucking, who cares, man? The only people
Right.
that are going to be
now we can
pissed about
finally
that-
start managing power and and managing the level of torque or whatever and human power.
Yeah. Well, the only people that are going to be pissed about somebody getting horse speed are the people that weren't born with horse speed.
Yeah.
There's probably
Oh,
going to
yeah.
be like a new fucking like weird version of the KKK where they're like everybody with horse speed is fucking below us or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's gonna be their own clan. Like
Yeah.
they'll be something that unifies people where they're like, well, at least we're not horse people.
Yeah.
And then eventually they'll start their own like movement, and it'll be like, horse hybrid lives matter. And then there'll be marches in the streets of just like people with like one human leg and one horse leg, where it's like clop step. Just like some are neighing and either
Some
way
of them
they
have
all,
horse heads.
and some of them have horse
Just, like,
heads and human
fucking
bodies.
massive horse heads and horse necks attached to a human spine.
Some of them
They
just
got,
look like
like,
it's just
horse-
like a horde of BoJack Horsemans
Yeah.
like walking around down the street.
Dude, that would be a fucking disaster. Like, how are they? A horse head weighs like 50 fucking pounds, dude. Like,
it is insanely heavy. Yeah,
like a
Yeah.
horse neck is like the size of my body.
Yeah,
Like, imagine a real horse head on a real human body. Like, if they're just like stitched together, that's how they turn out. Like, that would be a fucking horror show. I think
It
that the
would be.
hospitals would be filled up with like half horse, half people
Yeah.
the wrong way.
there would definitely be like a slew of horror movies to come out about that, where they're the main character and they're the thing that everyone's scared of, and then eventually time would form into the movies being about like how they're scary at first, but how we have to learn to accept them as members of society.
Of course, man. But I think that's like the whole thing is that if there were really horse-human hybrids and they were trying to get their rights, there'd be like most of us, at least I would be on the sidelines like, what the fuck? Who cares? They're horse people. Who
I know.
gives a shit? And someone's like, yeah, I don't want that horse person racing against my kid. My kid has low self-esteem already because I hit him.
I mean, hell, they're already mixing up they're already making sports to where it's just no one cares there's a real movement in sports where it's just whatever you are, just join. Like at some point it's not even going to be that you have to be the same age or same like class. It's just, that's another weird thing. I'm not going to get into
I have
that.
not thought enough about the trans rights portion of sports to really have an opinion on it. I want everybody to be included, but I
Yeah.
really have not educated myself enough about how we can include trans people into sports on like the gender-based sports that we have. I don't have it. I am not going to Joe Rogan this shit. I'm not going to have a fucking opinion before I have any sort of like education about it. 'Cause,
Yeah,
like,
I felt myself getting into it, and I caught myself, and I was like, wait, I probably should.
yeah.
I'll keep it to horse people.
My bad idea radar was going off, and it's like,
Yeah.
this is a bad idea. If we
Yeah,
get into that
exactly.
territory.
Because I have like I have a particular thought, but all of it, I always think of it as full circle. So it's like, yeah, okay, so like, sure, yeah, a lot they're like putting boys who identify as female who are like biologically men for their whole lives, at whatever age, letting them join like women's sports and they're dominating and getting all the records. But it's like, in my head, I'm thinking, it's not a whole lot like
Wait,
comparatively.
are we diving back into this?
No, but not totally. I just want to give this one thought out.
Okay,
I think in the long run, what it could do is if that creates that competition in there, then maybe it'll just balance out to where if there is that competition within the female sport, they'll just like fucking evolution will catch them up to us. And then it'll all balance it, or not. I said that weird. Hey, yeah, you know what? We probably shouldn't go down this. But
yeah, I guess my only opinion on this is that it's a huge operation and a huge choice to make a transition, and anybody that has the idea that people are transitioning just to beat ass in sports is a deluded psychotic motherfucker. Like that is not the issue.
I don't
issue
put
is-
it past some people to have that thought and to
Yeah.
go for it, but at the same time, I feel like at least the majority of the time, it is that they are just like now female, and so then they in their head they're females and they want to compete with females because it just makes sense to them. And like, sure, there's like the schematics about it, but I think over time it'll balance out. I think over time it won't matter, and then like men and women who go into that will actually just level out in the competition. It'll go into weight class and all that sort of stuff, and it won't matter anymore. So I think if it just keeps going, it'll level itself out.
Yeah, I mean, I think a good example of this, again, we're fucking slipping into this conversation that we both intended not to have, but I guess another point I can make is that when the fucking racists lost the battle to keep only white people in the Olympics and big competitions, when people of color started coming in and beating the fucking shit out of these inferior white people, it's like there probably was legitimate talks to separate out and resegregate people.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, keep it the same because, if a fucking guy from Jamaica can run a 9.4 fucking 100-meter dash, he's just the fastest human. So
yeah, exactly.
Shit. So it's like if a trans person goes and runs a 9.4 or 9.3, it doesn't. They're also the fastest human. So I think the real thing is just human rights and not to segregate people. But I don't know, man. I don't want to keep on.
Yeah. No, it's good. Well, it's good. I think like at the same time, I think it's good just for people just to talk about it. So that way you can get your thoughts out there. Because when you actually talk about it, you hear yourself say it.
Oh yeah.
And then other people can add in other details, and you can process it better yourself. And so I mean, if just talking about that has made anyone angry, like again, like I'll preface like I did on the last podcast where I had to preface another idea before I got into what my actual thought was. All I'm saying about it is like, sure, there are some things that set whether it be genders or whatever apart, but at the same time, my thought of it is just like you were saying about like when it came to race and to bring it together. If there was somebody faster from another country, well then you people in your country, you gotta step up your fucking game. It's just like just get better. All you gotta do is get better.
Phrasing, Jordan.
You people. You fucking people. No, I think, but yeah, it's just, I think it's good for the overall development of humanity. It's just like if like everybody who is like not as fast or not as strong, they like now they have now they have a new goal to hit, and they can catch up. It all work itself out. So that's my thoughts on it, but. I don't know I don't really understand evolution particularly, so I might also be wrong about that. But
I think evolution takes quite a long time.
It does takes a long time, but
especially human evolution, because I think we're probably like pretty genetically similar about 80,000 years ago. So I think we have a long ways to find.
Yeah, we got a long ways to go. Yeah. It'll all balance itself out in the long run. But yeah. Anyway, to comedy. How long have you been? So how long ago did you start trying out comedy, and when did you realize you had an interest in it at all?
Man,
because I mean, you are not funny, and no, I'm kidding.
Hey, I'm not claiming to be funny. I'm just trying to figure out how to fucking go up on stage and not talk at like 150 words a minute. That's all.
Oh, there you go.
That's all I'm trying to work on right now.
Good skill to learn.
Yeah, I mean, so I recognized that I was into comedy. I think like probably when I was 17, but I never got into it. I never wrote jokes, but I just remember like 17-year-old kid drinking parties, and then just like finding myself making people laugh. And then there's a big difference between making oh, nice. Hey, so tell me about your life story. I'm gonna leave. No, I feel you. I'm just fucking with you, man. But yeah, so I thought early on I was kind of a funny guy and I could make my friends laugh and stuff, but there's a difference between making your friends laugh and making people laugh just in passing at a party, and there's a difference between that and making people laugh on stage on purpose. So it took me a long time to get to that point. I joined the military for a little while, and I did public speaking in the military because I was an intelligence analyst and I had to brief people about what was going on. It's like, hey, you got a mission to do in 5 minutes, here's all the information for you, which I partially blame, even though it's all my fault personally, because it's not my own self-accountability. But I partially blame the way I was taught to public speak, because the way I was taught to public speak was get all the information out as fast as you fucking can, because this is life or death kind of shit. So like I learned blah 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 blah. Here's XYZ, and here's some additional information for you. Boom, let's go. So did that until 2016, and then like 2 times I went on stage. And it was really bad. It was not funny, not like good material. It wasn't delivered very well back then. It was kind of just like out of an immature mind, I think.
Yeah.
And then I left to go teach English for a year in South Korea. And when I was in South Korea, I had the interest, but like I mean, I'm not gonna go fucking from 0 to 1,000 and go from not doing 2 open mics and blowing ass and then go to Korea and try to do a fucking open mic to a bunch of, like, I just didn't think,
to a bunch of fucking so-and-sos.
Bunch of so-and-sos. I don't know. The expats are interesting people. It's a weird slew of people over there, but it's still, I just didn't feel like that was my place. I didn't want to go and try doing that there. I wanted to come back to home base in Des Moines and, you know, try to blossom a, you know, not a career, but like a string of funny moments along, you know, like here in Des Moines, rather than starting out somewhere else. So then I came back here, I think it was like mid 2018. So besides the pandemic, and also I broke my hand, which I don't know if you want to hear about that story too. So I broke my hand and I was out for like 3 months. And then, you know, the pandemic, I stayed out the entire time. So the last time that I did comedy here at Lefties was June 2020, but that was one time, and it was like the height of COVID and stuff like that. So I kind of got spooked out, and I didn't want to deal with like putting a mask on, walking around. I just felt uncomfortable. Yeah. So that whole time I wasn't in, but now I'm starting back up. This would be my 3rd set I'm gonna do tonight. And like I said, I just got to stop steamrolling and fucking just sprinting through my set. And then I'll be fine, but
take a little more time.
Yeah, I'd still say I'm like a fledgling amateur comic. Like I'm not even. I wouldn't give myself any credit.
Well, it is good to take your time through your set, because then people don't get to the conclusion that they don't want to hear what you have to say a lot slower. You have their attention a little longer. That's not to say that no one wants to hear what you have to say, but I gotta say I tune it out. That's a great point. But also, like, learning.
Are you talking about your point that you just made about me about tuning my shit out because it sucks? I agree.
Yeah. No. At this point, at this point, I've insulted you a few times.
Hey, man, you want to fight later? I've been fucking shadowboxing ghosts for the last 3 months.
I gotta tell you, it's pretty evenly matched because neither one of us can touch each other. It's like my fist is going right through them.
Yeah, man, a ghost wants to materialize and fight me, man. Let's fucking go. I got a camera set up. I'll fucking record that, make it into a non-fungible token, sell it to some millionaire.
Got a thermal camera, and then I got the guys from Ghost Hunters coming in. They're recording the whole thing.
Fuck those guys. I don't know some guy pissing his pants in my fucking basement.
Has that happened?
I don't know, probably.
I can see it.
They're just like, I'm so scared right now.
I know.
And they're like, oh, you don't believe he's scared? Hey, Frank, piss your pants.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do that. And they're like, piss your fucking pants, Steve. You got to make yourself seem scared. He's like, I'm so
it's
scared.
crazy how scared some people can get by never seeing a ghost. Like on that show, I don't think I've ever seen an episode where there's like I say that like I've seen every season. I've seen like 4 episodes total.
You've probably seen all of it.
If you've seen a couple episodes, you've seen the whole thing.
It's the same tropes, the same jokes, the same bullshit, you know.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, something happened over there. They're like, what? The camera didn't pick it up. They're like, I fucking swear. I'm shitting my pants right now.
I felt briefly cold.
Yeah.
It's always weird little things, and you never see it. It's always like, oh, we have this little meter in the middle of this basement in an abandoned hotel, and whenever the lights flicker up on the little gauge, that means a ghost is talking. It's like, how the fuck do you know that?
They make shit up.
Yeah.
Like the one thing that I think is the most ridiculous that people tend to point at when they're like, "There's a fucking ghost here, dude," is like they take a flashlight and they take specifically has to have ones with like loose batteries. What are those big fat boys?
D batteries?
No, not the square ones. The other ones. I don't know. The big fat cylinder ones that you put in.
The big fat cylinder ones are D batteries, and then 9 volts are the little boxes.
Oh, you're right. Okay, I'm fucking dumb. But okay, yeah. So you got those.
You
batteries.
didn't have to tell me.
I don't know shit, dude. But either way, so they take those batteries and they barely screw on the flashlight. And then they just have some guy, you know, it's always the expert. He brings his own fucking flashlight, so he's probably messed with it. He's like a magician. He's done it a million fucking times. It's like, hey, Steve, what'd you do this weekend? The paranormal investigator, Steve, what'd you do this weekend? He's like, I fucked around with my flashlight for like 18 hours. Like, that's like their job is to like make sure that they get this flashlight perfectly set up. So when they stomp on the ground, when like somebody coughs, they're like, they cough, and they're like, oh, fuck, the ghost just talked to us.
Right, yeah, exactly.
And, like, you just stomped on the ground and created a vibration that briefly push the battery.
Yeah.
You know?
That actually is that's super funny to know that's another trick that they use, because that's a pretty common thing of like the electrical devices flickering.
Yeah.
And it's like, and most of the time you can, if it's a house light, it's like, Have you checked your wiring?
Oh my God, yeah.
It's like just because your house lights are flickering does not mean you're haunted. Like, stop trying to grasp for anything that you can find to like verify your belief. That's like, no. I'll chalk one up for skepticism of just being like, do I know ghosts are not real? No. Do I know that they are real? Also no. But
I'll tell you, I don't think
I
ghosts
sure
are
don't
real.
believe it.
Dude, I'll make a case for ghosts not being real right. Oh, actually, my set tonight's going to be all about like this same actual topic. So I'll try not to use.
Is it
going to
lead into you being ghosted? And it's going to be like this
No.
whole like lead up, and you're like, so anyway, my girlfriend hasn't spoken to me in 3 months.
Nah, dude, that's not my style. I don't know. No, it's going to go in a different direction. But yeah, I won't reveal any of my material for tonight.
Oh, come on. No, okay.
But no, I think the case for ghosts not existing, or if they do, they're on some sort of like waiting list because it's fucking ridiculous. Like,
yeah.
Like, you see ghosts in like old garb. They're wearing like they're like, oh no, I saw a ghost. Like, how'd you know it was a ghost? They're like, they were wearing a bonnet, and I've never seen anybody wear a bonnet before.
I know.
And it's like, what the fuck?
Why is every ghost from old Victorian times?
Yeah, like even if like
what happened in that in those
well, I mean, the
couple
Black
decades?
Black Plague.
Okay, sure. But what about murder? Like what
sorts of shit.
about the plague would have brought more people back as ghosts than like literal actual trauma and strife?
Well, I mean, there must be some sort of queuing system, because if it was just a free-for-all Ghostville, then you would have like people that knew how to manipulate technology running around. Like, nobody's getting their emails hacked by ghosts.
Yeah, true.
You know, like here's my theory, dude, is that they are from like the 1920s, so they're like fascinated with electricity. So like that's why hauntings these days aren't so bad, is because
they're used to what's around.
No, like people are like reporting like all sorts of like monkey behavior, like light switches turning on and off, like DVDs getting thrown across the room, fucking like pots and pans getting clacked around, and it's like, no, the ghosts are just like fascinated with electricity. All they had was a Model T fucking 3 years before they died. They're like, holy fuck, flipping on and off the lights, like, you see this shit? This is fucking insane.
All these ghosts. I would love if that was how ghosts were flying around the room, just like flying, like, whoa, like flicking the light switch on and off, and then like your TV turns on. They're like, what the fuck,
dude?
You have moving pictures in a box in here? Yeah. Why are you what happened?
Yeah, there's like all sorts of stories. People are like, oh, they took the DVDs and threw them off. It's like, because they don't know what the fuck the DVDs are.
Yeah,
so pick up the DVD. If you didn't know what a DVD was and you picked it up, you'd probably throw it across the room and be like, this is garbage. What the fuck is this thing?
Either that, or you'd be like, well, it's a disc. I know about a Frisbee.
Yeah, that's what they think. That's their natural instinct, is just throw the disc like a, yeah. Dude, I
love the way that you're stating it, as if you're like you've like spoken to ghosts, and that is like, because I've
spoken to ghosts just as much as any other human being has spoken to ghosts, because no one's spoken to a fucking ghost. No one has spoken to a ghost.
I did love the phrasing of like, because obviously you prefaced it into that being like the thought on it, but then but I have total ability to like cut out the part where you say like, this is my thought, and then just make it sound. You're like, yeah, so this is how ghosts think, man. Like, I'm a professional. And then you're like, yeah, they think DVDs. I mean, this is my thought, but they think DVDs are Frisbees, and like they're just fascinated by the light switch. And it's just like it's just a fun idea to be like, Jeff is crazy.
I'm out of my fucking mind, guys. I don't know what's going on.
We're all a little out of our minds. That is a really funny thought, though. I think so, if someone hasn't yet, there should be a short made, at least a short film made, of ghosts, where it's like the family's freaking out, and in the meantime, ghosts are just like, God damn, they got it so much better than we did. And they're just like fascinated by the house. Like, we used to live in this house?
Yeah.
God damn, they souped it up.
They're like, this isn't even our fucking house. They like, took down our old house. This is a new one here or whatever.
They have fire on the ceiling?
Yeah, they're like, I waited in line for 100 years for this. Like, this is actually kind of fucking crazy. But they're like, I don't know how to mess with these people, you know? Like, they're like, I don't know. I flipped this light switch on and off a bunch of times. Are they going to be freaked out just as much as I am? Because anything they're actually doing to fuck with people is just out of jealousy. Yeah, but yeah, they don't know how to. I don't think they know how to, because if I died right now and came back as a ghost in 5, let's say like the ghost queue is based on like population density. I fucking died in Wyoming and come back in 5 minutes, you know?
Yeah.
I'd be fucking hacking the mainframe, fucking doing all sorts of like I'd be like taking somebody's phone when they're sleeping and Venmoing like my old fucking bank account $5,000 with a dick pic or something like that.
What do you? Why would you Venmo your own bank account? It's not like you can use it anymore.
I don't know, just to fuck with somebody. Like, you just
drain
their bank account.
And then it's in a dead guy's account. And at that point, they're just like, and then they get arrested because there's some kind of like money ciphering scheme.
Like, how are they connected to Jeff Lynch?
Yeah, like
the mystery thickens.
Now they don't think you're actually dead.
Yeah,
like you're just hiding out, and that's how you're making your money. Is these guys are deciphering it to you?
I would come out. I would try to materialize somehow, like why are ghosts not trying to make themselves seen? Like, there's all these like made up ghost rules that people have. They're like, well, the ghosts are scared to be seen. Like, how the fuck do you know this? You know? It's like,
I know. How would you ever know that a ghost is afraid to be seen? It's like, for one, you can't see it. Like, it can do anything at once, and you don't see it. Like, I remember there was a movie about it had Nicole Kidman in it. I don't remember what it was called exactly, but it was a pretty good movie. It might be. I don't want to say yes and be wrong. But it was basically Nicole Kidman and her kids were in this house, and they were like there forever, and they're like, oh, the kids can't go outside. They're allergic to sunlight. But then like they start getting flashes later in the movie, and like they get like help that comes in, like, and then like the kids can't go outside, and eventually they get flashes of like other people coming in who are like dressed more modernly than they are, and then I mean, like, not by much, but like you can tell it's like a little bit further ahead.
Were they wearing like Apple Watches or something like that?
Not quite. It was like a generation right before, and so they said, I think one of them still had a pocket watch, but they were like, but like the people but like Nicole Kidman and her kids were like even before that.
Like, we don't even have watches.
Yeah. So they were, so it was just like, I can't even guarantee.
I have
exactly,
newspaper shoes. What the fuck?
So it was just like, so then like they're living in this house, and they start getting flashes, and there's like a seance going on at one point, and then you learn later that they're living, like, you learn later that Nicole Kidman, like, spoiler alerts, Nicole Kidman.
We don't even know what the fucking film this is called, so no spoilers. Just
Right. But if
rough premise.
True,
movie,
yeah. That probably would make more sense for me to say if I'd actually told you what movie it was. Like, so you'll just stumble upon this on your own, maybe. So it turned out Nicole Kidman had like killed her kids, and then like they were just like living in perpetually in the moments and then killed herself, and so they were all living in this moment perpetually, where they were in that time and around the house, but other people were living in the house in real time, and so they were like
tape theory.
So it was like so it was like the ghost lives were living just in their own dimension, and then through seance they were able to like channel, like, talking to them, and then like
Ghosts were like, what the fuck is going on? I'm the same day for 5,000 years.
Yeah, and so exactly, and so eventually they're able to. Eventually, the maid ghosts and butler ghosts that like come along to help them out. They've known the whole time that they're all dead, and they're living in like this parallel kind of dimension.
Wait, the butler ghost and the maid ghost are like, we're fine with it though.
they've been aware for a while, so they've had to make their peace with it. And so
wait, why are they aware and the family's not aware though?
It doesn't really give the reason why they've well, it might actually, but it's been a while since I've seen the movie.
That's
but
fair.
like basically they knew already, but then like I think it might have been partially that they were already the help to Nicole Kidman's family or whatever, and or whatever, I don't remember. But the point is, it was an interesting take to think that like when they died they were just living parallel, and then whenever they noticed like haunting things going on around the house, it was just because they were still in the house and like living normally.
Well, they would just like make a
as
sandwich?
Ghosts. Not quite. There were like certain things that just like didn't happen, like them not going outside and everything. It was like just these weird little things that would like that made it peculiar. They're like enough where you're like, something's going on here. And then it wasn't until later in the movie when they were like, oh, they're actually dead, that you're like, oh, all that other stuff makes sense. And so, well, I mean, makes sense too as far as the plot line of the movie goes. And so, that was a more interesting idea. But I really think we should make a movie about all the ideas that we've spoken of here today. Like, ghosts are just fascinated by light switches and being like, God damn, I can control cell phones. Like, yeah, more modern ghost dies.
Yeah,
and he's like,
dude, if a modern ghost was able to really haunt someone, they could do some serious fucking damage.
yeah, for real.
Right?
I know.
Like,
Yeah.
that to me just makes it so that ghosts are not fucking real at all. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way. The only way is if there's some sort of queuing system where they're like, I don't worry about it. Ghosts aren't going to fuck with your technology. They don't know about it yet.
Yeah.
But, like, what happens in 100 years when people, well, I guess maybe there's still going to be that disparate fucking knowledge where I'm not going to know how to use a fucking iPad 85 in 100 years. So maybe it's going to be all like gestures from that fucking crime movie with Tom Cruise, and he was just like waving his hands around in the air.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Minority Report. He's just fucking way intense, like doing like disco and shit. And he's like, I fucking know I know everything. I'm hacking the mainframe.
Oh shit, that'd be a lot of fun. I honestly, I hope something happens with all that. Well, yeah, that's a great point. Is it? Yeah, I mean, modern ghost. I love that. I for a while it was like a fun meme to go like, or like either a meme or a joke going around where it was like ghosts nowadays would come back and they'd appear by your bed. You'd be like, and they'd be like, "What's the Wi-Fi password?" And
Fuck that. They could just figure it out. Why don't they just wait? Like, I guess that is okay. Maybe they would be too impatient or something like that. But really, though, you'd just be like, I'm gonna wait for this motherfucker to type it in.
They don't want to pay that much attention. They're just like millennial ghosts who are just like, whatever, man. I don't even care. They're like just hanging out in the house, and then that's when the sandwiches actually start getting made by ghosts. Is when it's just like a teenager that's just like floating around your house. Like you just see a cell phone floating around, and it's like on Facebook. But then it's on like, Ghost Facebook.
Yeah, the Ghost book. But then like when they eat the sandwiches, do they just like Casper the Friendly Ghost back onto the floor? Remember when they're eating all that food in that movie back in 1997?
Yeah,
just, like, all that slop is just falling on the ground. So you just have like a bunch of masticated sandwiches on the ground, and you're fucking dude. If that started happening, I'd be like, okay, but ghosts might be real. Dude.
Yeah, right.
Who's chewing up these sandwiches and not digesting them and fall on the fucking ground?
That'd be a great point. Unless you have kids.
Why did ghost teeth? Why is only the hands and the teeth of the Casper the Friendly ghosts actually like physical? Like they can chew up the food, but then they can't do anything else. It just falls on the ground. None of this shit makes any sense, dude. No matter if it's Casper the Friendly Ghost or if it's like what people really think are ghosts.
Yeah, that's the thing too. It always is just whatever fits your narrative to justify ghosts being real.
Oh yeah.
It's just whatever works for you in the moment to like make your TV show or to justify like the electrical problem in your house. Then that's when that ghosts affect those sort of things. But it's like. Yeah, there's no clear rules on the whole thing. It's just very much kind of weird, and so it's like knowing the lore of a vampire, and then watching Twilight. You're like, what the fuck is this? This doesn't make any sense at all.
Vampires sparkle in the daylight. What the fuck, man?
He should be bursting into flames.
Should be bursting into flames, dude.
Dude, like the fact that he's like not a ball of dust right now is like really taking me out of this movie.
I can only imagine like the stony 2008 conversations about that fucking movie that people were having. Like, bro, this movie doesn't even make sense. And I'm over here like,
I had them all.
Movie fucking sucks. I haven't even watched it. Like,
I
haven't even watched those movies. All I know it's like sparkly vampires. Some fucking guy with a kind of flat face is like super hot all of a sudden, and then there's a guy that's a werewolf.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It meant like Twilight is basically to vampires is the way that Notebook is to
Alzheimer's.
Any Jason Statham movie, where it's like, oh, you were expecting something a little more badass, but we just gave you hot dudes with some troubles that that eventually makes a woman fall in love with him, and then it's like. I didn't really see where you're going, but I watched the first Twilight with my mom one day because she just put it on, and I was like, all right, they're all out already. Like, so it's like this one's old now, and this has been forever. It's like I'll watch the first one because my mom's already. I didn't make the choice to watch, to like put it on. I made the choice to sit there and hang out with her and watch it, and it is the cheesiest shit in the world. It's just, I mean, it's literally just like dreary and rainy all the time, and then it's just like they go out into the woods and there's just like one ray of sunlight that goes onto like the one tall rock in the forest, and then Edward goes up and stands out and he's like, you don't want to look at me, but he's like takes off his shirt and he glistens like a disco ball, and you're like, why are you hiding this?
Why the fuck did you even do that? Why are you like, what's up with the pageantry, bro? Like,
yeah, I know.
Fuck,
yeah.
I know we're all art majors and
makes
shit.
It a fucking spectacle. Like, yeah, he literally is a moody art major.
Yeah.
But with
I
sharp
made
teeth.
that up. I didn't know.
It's pretty accurate. Yeah, it's nuts, dude.
Maybe they needed to make it so dreary to justify that actress's dead fucking eyes.
Yeah.
Like, why is she so fucking like morose all the time? Oh, dude, it's because it's raining.
I know.
They'll justify it.
People more often than not will say that they love Kristen Stewart, and I'm like, okay, I liked her in movies I liked her in movies that I liked. But if you look at her overall, she literally makes one face.
Yeah,
and everything she does, and I heard someone put it in a good way. She looks like she takes baths over showers. Like this, like the way she looks, it looks like she sits in her filth.
Yeah,
and then doesn't really ever look totally clean, you know. And so she's just a little grimy. And like I do like that to an extent, but it's just like I'm not clamoring for the next Kristen Stewart movie because I'm like, I guarantee she played the same character she's played in everything.
Yeah, she just kind of plays like the nervous person that's like, you know, and then like twists up her fingers into her hands all weird and shit like that. Like I get it, man, it's cute, but
she always says it seems like she has something going on, but she's almost aloof.
Yeah.
And so it's like she's not really there.
It's like
And
they
so
don't
it's
even
just-
care.
Yeah, like I don't really care. Like I'm being forced into this situation.
Well,
Like, I don't
you're
even
a
want to be
fucking
here.
vampire.
Yeah,
dude,
yeah, yeah.
whatever, man.
She strikes me as the kind of person where if almost as if the movie set is when she's like at home, and then and if you were to see her off camera, it would be like her.
Bright and bubbly. And she's
yeah,
fucking on.
It would be her when she goes to a party at her friend's house, and where it's just like, wow, you're a different person.
Kristen Stewart is the shit. Fuck
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like she livens up, and then she's all kinds of fun all of a sudden. You're like, I did not see this coming.
Some producers just like get sad.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, exactly. Like we
Nothing
want.
fucking matters.
So for this part, we think you should do the only thing you're able to do. Just look like you're not even here.
Kristen, just think about reality and how reality is meaningless and how zero exists and how zero is something and also nothing at the same time.
Just think about like like space. It's made up of nothingness, but it's forever expanding. So nothingness is getting bigger. How does that make sense? And she's like
dark matter. She's like dark energy, dude.
Yeah, it does.
And it's like you're. Yeah, I know you just.
You
said
are
that.
dark matter. You are nothing.
It's like Kristen. I know you just said that to be edgy, talking about dark energy, but you're actually right. That's how the universe
It
works.
is
It keeps
pretty
everything
accurate.
together with what's proposed to be dark energy.
Yeah. It's like on the gut, and like that's the thing too. Is I loved when I was younger. I loved Zathura. That was like kind of like Jumanji, but with space.
Fucking A, okay.
And so it was pretty cool. It had Dax Shepard in it. I really
Nice.
liked that. I liked her in that.
Dax is cool. I like that guy.
Yeah, he's cool. I really liked Adventureland.
Mhm.
I liked Zombieland. She's in a lot of lands, and and so it's like there's certain things, but then and so like it's one of those things where I'm like, in real life, I'm like, I don't really care, but it's
Yeah.
fun to kind of talk shit. I talk shit about. I like talking shit though, but so it's just like genuinely, I don't care. Obviously, I have like some things she does, so I'm not against her. there are
Seems
just
to be a
some
great
movies.
person.
Some of the
She's-
movies just weren't for me. Is all it is. That's truly the only thing that it actually is.
All I'm making is an observation that she has dead fucking eyes, and I think she even knows it too. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's whatever. She's
But
a
she
great
has a
person.
look. Yeah, she has a look. People love it. She does
Yeah.
well, and it's just like, yeah, it's great. She got her thing, and so that's all what we all hope for. It's like even if I made it to her level, people would say similar shit about me.
Like, dude's got dead fucking eyes.
Yeah, exactly. It's like God, the dude's eyes are like never open. It's like, why does one of them look more open than the other? It's like, because they are.
Dead fucking eyes.
my eyes have like this weird. My eyes have a thing where like this one doesn't open as my right one doesn't open as much as my left one.
Oh yeah.
And so I just kind of always look a little suspicious, or like, and I've also heard it. Doug Benson has the same thing,
Uh-huh.
comedian, and Jeff Ross once roasted him and said like your eyes aren't open the same level. It's like one smokes indica and the other smokes sativa. And I was like,
Pretty
oh
much.
shit. Yeah, and so there's all kinds of ways you can look at it.
I can tell you, I didn't notice it, so nothing
Well,
to be
shit.
self-conscious about.
All
man.
right.
Yeah, it's all good.
I'm not. It's like that's actually the beauty of doing comedy is I'm less self-conscious about things because now I can just talk shit about it.
Mhm.
And I can like make fun of myself and then realize, but then I also realize that like the way I've described it to my brother is like we're not Ryan Goslings by any means, but we ain't ugly.
Yeah.
And so I'm just so it's like, but I mean to some people we are for sure.
Who gives
But
a
like
fuck?
but exactly, but that's the same
Yeah.
thing with everybody. Every what's up, Morgan? So everybody is like attractive to a certain amount of people, ugly to another certain amount, and then don't even register to the rest. And so
It's just how it is, man.
it's just how life is. And so that's one of the beauties of it is like, yeah, you're never gonna meet everybody in the world, and even if you did, you won't remember 99% of them.
Not at all, dude.
You won't even remember 99.999% of them. Like,
No, nobody's
It
gonna
doesn't
remember
matter.
anything you say on stage unless it's like crazy impactful. If you fucking do bad, you do whatever as long as you're not being a complete piece of shit. Or
Yeah.
like, completely self-unaware asshole. Then people are probably just gonna be like, give him a break.
yeah, exactly. and as much shit as I talk, like even whether it be about Kristen Stewart or if I like have a comment about
That
something
was
I've
mild.
observed
You were
and
just
just
saying
yeah, it was
she had
pretty
dead
mild.
fucking eyes.
Yeah, it had dead fucking eyes. It's like a shark's eyes.
Yeah, man.
They no matter what I say about that, I'm like, take it with a grain of salt, because it's like if you get to that certain level, people are gonna say certain things to that manner about you as well. But it's because that many people know you, and not everybody is going to be your fan. But if those people know you, then they're gonna have their opinion, and it doesn't matter. Like that's not. I mean, part of that is actually how you get your name out there, because then people can like talking shit, and then people get to go like, well, I actually like this thing that they do, and it kind of solidifies it for everybody. And so it's it's a full circle. You gotta get all the reactions, and then depending on what happens.
I don't believe in karma, but I feel like if you're just a nice person to everybody without exception, then you're probably gonna be fine. Like yeah, and any bad things that happen, don't fucking blame it on anything else besides maybe random circumstance or yourself, and then you're gonna be fucking fine.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, don't be like, well, this happened. I got in a car accident because my fucking cat shit in my bed and I needed to clean it up, and then coincidentally butterfly effect, and I got in a fucking car accident because my cat. And
yeah.
That was probably because of you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like your cat shitting in your bed had nothing to do with it, realistically. No, like maybe it put you in a bad mood, but you being in a bad mood doesn't mean you can't pay less. You have to pay less attention on the road.
I fucking road raged, and I got in a car accident and killed the fucking guy.
It's like it takes some fucking responsibility.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it's all about, dude. It's all about life. Life is all about taking personal responsibility, making everything a learning experience, and having fun.
Yeah.
If you're not doing that shit, then what the fuck are you doing?
I know. And welcome all emotions. All emotions are part of being a person. It's just a matter of like recognizing them and then like not blaming everybody for your emotions and like being like, well, even if you get a certain trait from like your parents or whatever the fuck it is, it's like being aware of it and doing your own part to do whatever with that you think needs to be done is also your responsibility.
Yeah, man. And I think like having the self-awareness to ask why when you have a certain emotion and like, you know, validating it. Oh, I'm happy because this is a happy thing. Or like, why the fuck did I just get pissed off? Oh, yeah. Okay. That's because of my own insecurities or whatever the fuck is going on. There's no reason to get mad. So question it and then fix that shit. Everything's a learning experience.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of my thing, dude. Yeah, man. Take that with comedy. Take that with life. Take that with anything. You know, you eat shit sometimes, but as long as you're a good sport about it, nobody's going to fucking hold you to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you like, I don't know, fucking blow something up or like kill people, you know? Obviously, that's like, okay, gross negligence. But, you know, obviously don't be a negligent asshole, cause loss of life.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, self-awareness is key. But, and so, and then speaking of kind of that aspect of where you're like applying that to comedy, what are some of the like what's something that you love about comedy so much that it actually brings you to do it yourself?
The challenge, man. It's like I said, like I don't have it down at all. I need to figure out how to speak better because I'm just like word vomiting stuff out when I'm on stage, not giving people enough time to laugh. So it's all about the challenge and like learning. And one big thing that I love about comedy is like seeing other people's perspectives. Because I feel like seeing other people's perspectives lends empathy. So, like, if you run into a situation, I don't know, maybe just by happenstance, the guy on stage talked about that stuff. So you'll have some sort of reference point. Or, like, I don't know, the stuff that people talk about on stage are a lot of times very intimate to them. So I think it's really cool to see that part of our society, to see that there are, like, a lot of times in comedy, like, still really good things in our society that also lead to laughs that, you know, can benefit everybody, because you make a fucking funny joke and funny insight, everybody in the room is happy, nobody got hurt. And like that's what I really like, man. Like I like the challenge of trying to do it, making people laugh, making people happy, being there for that entertainment, and you know, again, just getting better. Like my paramount favorite thing I like about comedy is making people happy, making people laugh, but the other part of that is the challenge and the art and the craft of it. Because it is craftsmanship. It's not easy to just go up and purposefully make people laugh in a very pointed way. It's easy to goof around, you know, on this podcast, maybe we can make some people laugh, but this is a completely different platform than going on stage and saying, like, I'm making you laugh now, rather than somebody hears us say some goofy thing and they're like, ha ha ha, that, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a laugh by yourself listening to a podcast is a very different laugh than in a live, intimate setting. With somebody on stage that you're focused on, so it's like, because you're, like, kind of, like, it's just you're very much in the moment when you're like at a show, and then you're kind of in your own head. So like, it's kind of like how when you send a text message, if someone texts back LOL, 99% chance they didn't actually laugh out loud. Like they just they probably went like, at the most they probably went like and then sent LOL. Like they like it was a very minimal to what they said, but they like recognized that it was funny enough to at least kind of get that kind of feeling.
Yeah, when they're actually laughing out loud. When they're actually laughing out loud, they're like, "I'm literally laughing out loud right now." It's like, oh, you could have just typed LOL, bro. Right?
Yeah.
Same effect.
LOL, literally. Laughing out loud, literally.
Yeah.
So that's
or LLOL.
LLOL. Yeah. Either way you want to do it. It's a free world.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something I agree with. There is a lot of fun to be had with it, and then and then like you said, it's a challenge. You can kind of sell somebody an idea you had. A lot of comedians start with a crazy idea and then try to explain it. and then bring it around, but in a way that makes you laugh. And so that's always a fun, like a lot of fun to try to figure out. But also, I've been talking a lot about one of my best sets doesn't have, because obviously a lot of comedians will flub some ideas and bits and truths about their stories to make it funnier and add in the jokes.
Yeah, I mean, anything on stage should be taken with a grain of salt. You got to make it funny.
Exactly. Yeah. And one of my best 4 to 5 minutes, depending what I do, is actually telling a story about like stuff that happened to me when I was young that was like traumatizing. And I don't have to really mess with it a whole lot. I just have to present it the right way. Yeah. And then like add in just like and just add, and then throw in a couple things here and there for punchlines, and then it's mostly true, and then it actually works out quite a bit. Whereas otherwise you got to really kind of work it. Like my arrest story, I have to flub some of the details in there for sure. It's all bit, man. Make it better. You know? Yeah, but it is like a true story too, because like that's the thing too, is like with all the detail I get into about it, people are surprised to learn that it is a real story, because I talk about getting arrested while I was dressed as a Boy Scout on Halloween. Right. And so some people are like, I work the story, but then some people are like, oh, that was true. I'm like, yeah, that part's true. Yeah, like I did get arrested as a Boy Scout, and that's spurred a lot of what I'm saying here tonight. Right. And so that's another fun thing. But obviously it just depends on what the story contains, how you present it, all that, and how you deliver it and all that, and however you got to work to make it work. So that is always a lot of fun to do, and that's and I think part of the reason I like doing comedy so much is because it's like an allotted time where I just get to go up and say what I want to say. And because I never had that in my life. I was always shut down, even to this day. Yeah. Like when I'm talking, like, because my brother's going through a split up with his apparently not actual wife. Like there's this whole thing. Wife? Well, they had a whole marriage ceremony and everything, and then they like 2 months later he found out that the marriage certificate or license or whatever like wasn't valid. Oh, shit. So it was never like fully put through because they were missing things, and so now that they split up, they're not actually married, so they don't have to get a divorce. That's fucking tragic, man. It's the whole thing is a fucking ridiculous, sad story, and so whenever, but like there's been 100 times now where I try to jump in and say something because I have a different perspective on it. Yeah. Where I'm like, this is still my family. It's still my brother. Like let me say something. Like I do care about these people. Like I'm not just trying to get attention. Like I genuinely do want to like try to talk this out with them and like whatever, maybe help them
stop trying to make jokes,
get a new look at it. Like I don't even make jokes. That's the thing. Like I have so much trouble making jokes in the situation. Like I'm just trying to like to speak to him from a real point. But then like my mom would tell me to stay out of it. My brother would tell me to stay out of it. And then my dad's told me to stay out of it. But then like my dad will ask me about it, and I just gotta be like, everyone keeps telling me to stay out of it, so I don't know how to respond to you. Yeah, asking me about these questions. Yeah, exactly. Runaround guy. Yeah, like talk to them. Like I don't know. Yeah. Like I'm like I know, but like I'm not like I'm so tired of being told to stay out of it. It's like apparently I'm not part of this, so it's whatever. Go live your lives. Sucks, man. So that's and so even to this day that carries on, and so they'll wonder why I'm not like so talkative or like so open. It's like because you shut me down. Yeah. Yeah, and so then
that's why I'm on stage, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. So I found this outlet on stage finally where I can go up and like I can speak my mind, and it's like. Yeah, it's a lot of bullshit. We got a lot of people coming in. Yeah, so but it's wrap it up here in a second. We'll be wrapping it up here soon, but yeah, no. But we did cover what you like about comedy, why you do comedy, what you think about it. Just 2 more things. Yeah. How did you first get the idea? Okay. When did you start realizing what stand-up comedy was, and then leading into starting it? And then what's a guilty pleasure in music? Because I haven't asked somebody that in a long time, and I get some funny answers.
I'd say what it brought, like when I understood what comedy was, after doing it for a while, that's part of it. But then, honestly, Your Mom's House podcast with Tom Segura and Christina P., hearing those guys talk about the art form and the craft and like their take on things was really kind of opened my eyes to be like, because I really like Tom Segura as a comedian, and I'm like, oh man, he just takes like a blip of his life and then he just expands on that and goes like Fantasyland, what if X, Y, and Z. Like his bit making fun of Steven Seagal makes me laugh so fucking hard because, like, one, it's rooted in truth, and it's just based off of a couple observations, and then he turns it into this fucking hilarious bit about how Seagal's fucking like, oh yeah, there's like a helicopter goes over, and he's like, oh, that's a Skippy 452, and they're like, how do you know that? He's like, I've been flying helicopters for 45 years, and then they're like, oh, that's a dog. Oh, well, that's kind of a mutt. And he's like, oh, that's a Shih Tzu Pomeranian mix, and they're like, how do you know that? He's like, I've been breeding dogs for 85 years.
Yeah.
You know, it's like fucking hilarious.
Uh-huh.
And he just takes that off of like one tiny little like observation. And that's kind of what like made it click in my
You pick
my
up on a
mind,
pattern,
where
yeah.
it's like there's just like a unique perspective. And then I thought, you know, everybody has hubris, and they're like, I can do that too, you know. And then that's what kind of like I'm trying to take my own path and take my own perspective on things and twist them a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, man, I bet ghosts probably fucking suck ass at fighting because they've been waiting around for 120 years and they didn't watch Walker Texas Ranger.
Yeah. Yeah, they're very atrophied at this point. Yeah.
I mean, they don't even know, dude. They were throwing bolo punches and chin up left hooks. They don't know what the fuck's going on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's I fucking love your Mom's House podcast.
It's a great
Me and
time.
Cooper quote it to each other all the time.
Hell yeah.
Whole white baby, bruh. But yeah, so like, since we do got right over here, so
Yeah.
just guilty pleasure music. If you need an example,
Oh, yeah, that's
I
right.
once was talking to Muhammad Ual, and he told me Hannah Montana,
Nice.
and we came up with his alternate persona would be African Dan.
Nice.
And so so that's kind of the sort of thing I'm thinking of. Like for me, it's probably like a couple Tim McGraw songs,
Oh man.
and I don't like country, but something about him is nostalgic, like the "Live Like You're Dying."
Fuck man.
Yeah.
Like guilty music pleasures. It's like just something from my childhood, but like some Garth Brooks songs. But it's just like awesome to like karaoke those songs. So like it's like when the thunder roll and like doing those fucking
Where you
karaoke
hiding the
songs.
bodies, Garth?
Right, he's a fucking maniac, dude. Your Mom's House has proved that to me. He's fucking psychotic. But, like, Garth Brooks maybe a little bit, but I listen to a lot of like indie pop. So like,
What
just
about Chris
anything fun.
Gaines?
Man, I don't know. That's a different person, isn't it? You know, it's definitely not him.
Oh, that's
That's
yeah.
not
Oh
Garth
yeah.
Brooks.
Good point.
different
You
guy,
can't
dude.
see we're winking. Yeah, that's a crazy thing.
Like really, like guilty
getting too
music. I'm not really guilty. I don't really have shame in any
Pretty
music that I
open.
listen to. Yeah, I don't give a fuck, man. Like somebody's gonna make fun of me about something, and it's like, okay, you really want to start a war? I'll go home and write a bunch of fucking roast jokes about you, and then slip them in the conversation and make you feel bad in front of people, motherfucker.
There you go.
I wouldn't. No, I'm not. I wouldn't do that. But like, really, like, I don't like to. Like people talk shit about. Like if I'm like, yeah, I like to listen to like Mumford & Sons, I like to listen to that, and somebody's like, you fucking dumb hippie loser, blah blah, that music's garbage, and be like, oh okay, you want to start a war? Maybe I'll just make fun of you now. Like
Yeah.
I don't make fun of people, but if like you want to start a war, maybe I'll start slipping shit in, and maybe I'll fucking burn your ass pretty hard.
Yeah. Hell
Who
yeah,
knows?
man. Yeah, I get you, man.
Yeah.
Well, you want to know what my charge was after I got arrested?
Sure. What was it?
I got a DUI, baby.
They came from
Underground.